Welcome back. You're with us in Bazaar Morning Call. We're dealing with multiple cues, and all of it put together is implying a little bit of caution as we start things off. We'll get the implied open up for you in just a second. There are lots of individual stocks to track as well, and our team is standing by with the CNBC-TV18 list of top stocks to watch. Let's kick it off with Vinny. She's been tracking all the auto sales numbers that were coming in over the midweek holiday. Vinny, Hero, Moto and a couple of others. Tell us more.
Absolutely. Hero, Moto, Eicher Motors as well as Maruti, Suzuki that came out with their September auto sales numbers. So the two-wheelers, both of them have managed to do well. Eicher Motors also, we're expecting it to open in the green, beating the estimate of CNBC poll. Overall, a 10 to 11% growth in terms of total sales numbers. Exports have seen a very good growth. 77% growth for Royal Enfield is what we're seeing coming in. And number of units sold is around 7,652 in the export market. So that growth momentum continues for Royal Enfield. Even Hero Motor, that is also managed. We are expecting it to open in the green. Good set of numbers in terms of auto sales. Growth of around 25% on a month-on-month basis, 18% growth on a year-on-year basis. Domestic sales, exports, both the momentum on both these fronts have continued. Whether you look at it versus last year or the last month, strong growth there as well. Maruti, on the other hand, we're expecting a bit of a red for this stock today. The estimates and the sales volume, what we're comparing, it's in line with what the street was also anticipating. Not much of a growth in terms of total sales, just around a 2% growth. PV sales have been seeing a decline, so down 3% on a year-on-year basis. LCV exports not exciting there. And lastly, Bharat Forge, we have the NA Class 8 numbers that have come in for the month of September, where we are seeing a very good growth in terms on the month-on-month basis, 124%, and year-on-year basis, a 4% growth. So keeping an eye out on that. September orders have been at a 10-month high, so expecting a bit of a green here.
Got it. All right. Thanks a lot for that, Vinny. Well, let's go across to Mangalam. He's here to tell us about Dabur as well as Marico's business updates. Mangalam, morning.
Good morning. So Dabur will well be the stock on the way down in today's trading session, and that's largely because of a big dampener coming in from them in the second quarter update. Two things. One is that their consolidated revenue will decline in mid-single digit, and as a result of which the EBITDA margins will also decline to mid to high teens versus earlier guided 20%. Why is that? Because of two reasons. One, heavy rains and flooding in parts of the country impacted out-of-home consumption, and as a result of which the beverage category saw a bit of a dip. And secondly, the more important one, due to high growth in quick commerce and e-commerce, the company has decided to rationalize inventory that is there in general trade. And this is an interesting trend that we'll be watching out for, not just from Dabur, but all the other FMCG companies over the next couple of quarters as well. While we've been talking about growth in quick commerce, it's actually now beginning to impact growth in traditional trade as well. So as a result of which, expect the stock to be lower. It is already down 10% from its 52-week high level, but let's see how much further lower does it get today. The other stock we're watching out for is Marico, and this may well be the stock on the way up today. Why is that? Because the consolidated revenue for the company grew in high single digits. Domestic business posted mid-single digit volume growth. And importantly, remember the stock underperformed when Bangladesh had that impact out there. The company said Bangladesh posted high single digit growth in this quarter. So we'll keep an eye out on Marico. See green on Marico and red on Dabur.
Maybe deep red on Dabur. We'll see. Mangalam, thank you very much for that. So that is FMCG in focus, and perhaps we'll watch implications otherwise in that sector as well. Well, Aurobindo Pharma had some negative news flow on Tuesday. Well, it's got some positive news flow this morning as we start. Ekta is here with that. Ekta, morning.
Morning. Well, maybe the stock should probably be in the green on the back of this approval. They've received final approval from the US FDA to manufacture Keflit generic tablets, which is basically an antibiotic. Aurobindo has been granted competitive generic therapy designation for this drug. So that means that they're eligible for 180 days shared exclusivity, expected to be launched in Q3 of FY25. But remember that this news comes in context of regulatory issues which they've been facing in the past couple of months. So maybe, there could be, the upside could be limited on account of it.
Okay, all right, got that. Ekta, thank you very much. Let's move on. Vivek is watching out for JSW Energy. Vivek, morning. What's the news?
Well, good morning. An important development coming in as far as the company's renewable energy ambitions are concerned. The company's renewable energy subsidiary known as JSW Neo has received an LOI, letter of intent, from the Maharashtra State Electricity Department. Now, this particular LOI is for going ahead and supplying 15 megawatt, which is moving up to almost 20,000 megawatt per hour, and this is for providing energy storage capacity for a period of almost 40 years. So again, a long-term commitment coming in from the Maharashtra State Electricity Board. Now, what does this mean for JSW Neo? Number one, the total locked-in storage capacity now stands at 16.2 gigawatt hour, where pumped hydro is almost 14.4 gigawatt hour and battery storage is 1.8 gigawatt. It's a positive development. Expect the stock to be in green today.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Vivek, for that. Well, let's across to Sonal. She's here to tell us about Jubilant Ingrevia. Sonal?
Good morning, Nigel. Well, there's a big order win that has come by for Jubilant Ingrevia, the wholly owned subsidiary. It has entered into an agreement with a global agrochemical company. This is to supply agro intermediate for one of the key agro actives of the customers. And here the consideration is huge. It's around $300 million plus to supply these agro intermediates to the customer, and this will take place once the commencement of production happens over a couple of years. But yes, this is a big amount which would come into the books of the company. The company says subsidiary will be investing in the manufacturing facility. We don't know the quantum of investment. That will be important to track. And manufactured agro intermediate will be exported from India. It is not for domestic usage but for exports. So we'll have to look out for margins from this product as well.
All right. Thanks very much, Sonal, for that. Well, oil prices are a big headline, and that's a big macro marker. 5% since we last closed at 3:30 on Tuesday and went into that holiday. So almost knocking at 75. Manisha is here with more. Manisha.
Thank you for that, Prashant. Well, yes, the 5% of a knee-jerk reaction. Prices have started to gain for a third straight day today as well. Iran on Tuesday fired more than 180 ballistic missiles at Israel. Hostilities seem to be now seeping further into East. And remember that Middle East produces 1/3 of global crude. As of now, we haven't seen any threat to the oil supplies. But if that happens, if that is a retaliation, and Iran being one of the major prominent members of OPEC as well, you could be looking at further premium coming in for the prices. At this point in time, also the prices are contained because the U.S. Crude production continues to increase. The U.S. inventories also surged by 3.9 million in the previous week. And also the U.S. gasoline demand is at the lowest in 6 months. So, and these are just U.S. numbers. The Chinese numbers continue to be on the weaker side as well. OPEC has said that they will increase production from the month of December. The next OPEC meeting is on 1st of December. So the markets really are rising only because of the geopolitical tensions, because otherwise, when you look at the supply and demand situation, that still continues to be bearish.
Oh, yes, Manisha, we remember you gave us the numbers. I think it was a 9 or 10% decline in September otherwise for oil. But October has started off on a very, very different note. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll track it through the course of the day as well. With that, let's quickly recap our list of top stocks to watch. The ones that have positive news flow are Eicher Motors, Hero MotoCorp, Bharat Forge, Marico, Aurobindo Pharma, JSW Energy, Jubilant Ingrevia. The ones that have negative news flow around them are Maruti, Suzuki, and Dabur. Crude users, of course, could be negatively impacted as well as prices remain well bid and the uncertainty continues. On that note, let's take a very quick break. On the other side, we will be in conversation with Pralay Mondal, MD and CEO at CSB Bank. We'll talk about, of course, the trends in the second quarter and the impact of the RBI advisory that's talking about a lot of the internal compliances and regulatory issues that need to be carefully monitored. Talk about that and more on the other side.